Namaste. Welcome to Mind Body Retreats at Beta. I'm going to demonstrate Parshvakonasana, side angle pose. So this is kind of like triangle pose, but we start in Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana B, going into our deepest lunge, taking the legs as far apart as they comfortably can. So the first stage, when you practice this pose, you'll notice that maybe there's some tightness in the hip adductors. So maybe it looks a little bit more like this. Try to make sure that your front knee doesn't hyperextend the front leg. So take it as deep as you can, and keeping that knee like you drop a penny onto the ankle if you were to. And then we're going to take a big inhale to open out the chest, and then take the elbow down towards the knee and the arm up and forwards, aiming to create this one long straight line as we reach the arms up and forwards. Sometimes when we're practicing at first, it's good to have a little look at how it looks. Take a picture of yourself or a video. If you have a mirror big enough, practice in front of that. You might find that the body kind of looks a little bit more like this. The hips are lifted, the arm is down, and the upper body is lower. We want to create that line, so we'll start with the fingertip and the back little toe connection. Really like you're grabbing an elastic band and you're stretching it as far away as it can go. So find that distance first. And it'll be very difficult to be too far down if you've got that idea of stretching the right side of the body. So from this position, then you can start to lower into the hips a little bit. And over time in your practice, you might find that as the hips open, the knee comes forward. So you'll want to rearrange that stance in time, making sure that that foot comes forwards to compensate the openness of your hips. There may come a day when you can be in this pose and start to turn the chest up towards the sky while still keeping the hand pointing down towards the earth. So we get this stretch through the side body, and then like in triangle pose, we're working to tuck this hip under and forwards and the top hip more on top. So rotating the body up sideways, really opening the chest up towards the sky. And then you may find that this hand can come down to the ground on the outside edge of the foot while still maintaining this straight line. If you're reaching down and you're losing the line through the side of the body, then just stick with the elbow at the knee for now. And be patient in your practice. Over time, you'll get a deeper stretch. But there's no point trying to go for a pose that isn't quite available to you yet for the sake of it. Then you'll miss out on all the energetic benefits. And the point of doing the pose is to work where you are with what you have, the tools that you have, and then you'll find that it changes quite quickly, quite rapidly, with correct technique and less force, less desire to try and get there. Energetic actions, once we've found this hand down version in the pose, we can actually use this hand. I'll demonstrate on the other side now because it's important to switch sides. Exhaling down, and then inhaling, finding that integration, the line lengthening through the side body. And as we exhale, I can use this hand pressing down into the ground. I can use this knee pressing back into the bicep to create a little bit of resistance as I roll the chest up. So I'm rolling the chest up, but I'm resisting it with this knee at the same time. So it's strengthening for the fingers, for the arms, the grounded side of the body now. But I'm also using that to get a little bit deeper, to connect more parts of the asana, to connect that opening of the chest with the sinking of the hips, the rolling of the hip on top, more on top. The hip underneath opens, and we get that open extension, lengthening through the left side of the body, breathing slowly and evenly, checking that the neck is engaged, and only bringing the eye gaze up towards the hand if it's comfortable. If your head is more comfortable down here, then this is a good place to start with. Maybe just taking the eyes to the hands alone, and in time, maybe a few months of practice, depending on how regularly you go at it, bring in the neck into rotation. What you might find a little more comfortable is letting the head drop down like this. Okay, so if you find your head there, just see if you can lengthen it a little bit more. It doesn't need to lift up like crazy. It doesn't need to be tense. Nothing in the pose should be tense. But if we just have that sense of, okay, I'm here, maybe I'm a little tired today, or maybe my neck for some reason is a little weak, I'm just going to lengthen it a little bit. Just going to find a little bit of juice in the pose. And then if I'm feeling really strong, flexible, energized, healthy, then pressing down into the hand, really rotating through the hips as I lengthen this left side body as much as possible. I'll feel a deep stretch on the pectoral muscles, but the latissimus dorsi, this muscle underneath the arm, is lengthening the serratus anterior, that hand-like muscle that's underneath the latissimus dorsi. These guys are really stretching deeply as I reach through the fingertips and press down that left little toe. You might find as well that your back toe lifts up a little bit. This might not be something you see until you've videoed yourself, but see if you can feel it. Use your proprioception, your awareness of space, to feel, is that little toe pressing down into the ground? Is my full hand pressing into the ground? If you find that you've come down with the hand and lifted the toe up, then just modify. If you find that you've come to this place in that the back is slightly arched, we're finding it really difficult to get that support, then, modify. This is a practice for you, for where you're at, so enjoy it. Inhale up, and exhale, relax.